making. The Pac-12 never really did what you were supposed to do when you're changing with the times. They never changed with the times. They always thought tradition was going to win out. Tradition is going to win out, and they would get a TV deal. But it comes down to it that they probably were the least watched conference when they were on regular networks. Their games come on way too late. Even though I love watching the Pac-12, 8:00, 8:30 games, those are even late for the West Coast. Okay, so pretty much with that, the Pac-12, it was a fun ride, but it's over now. And it's just, I'm not surprised by anything anymore. I'm just not. You know what I mean? Because we've lost so many great things. We thought we were never going to lose the Big East, the basketball conference, and we wound up losing the Big East. You know what I mean? As a football conference, and then it had to assemble itself as a basketball conference. So pretty much, never say never, but it's always a possibility, as they like to say. But let's move on to our next topic, and that's going to be this. Let's talk about the Saints looking to dominate the NFC South right now. Will Carr show critics that he is a true franchise QB? Well, Derek Carr has a lot to prove because, they pretty much said that he was through in Vegas. They pretty much said that he was the sole reason why they couldn't move forward and be a great team. And he was the reason why they lost games that they were up 20 points in or 3 touchdowns in or 10 points in. And he's the whole reason why. Everything was Derek Carr's fault. Even though Derek doesn't play defense, even though Derek doesn't play special teams, even though Derek's not the one rushing the quarterback, even though Derek's not the one covering receivers, it was all Derek Carr's fault because he was the quarterback and he's the star of the team. Well, the Raiders were an absolute joke last year, and they're even bigger joke this year. So Derek Carr doing what he did to the Raiders was justified, and getting out the way that he did was justified because if anybody loved playing for the Raiders, it was him. And pretty much the way that he was shunned by Mark Davis and McDaniels and Ziegler and all these guys that swore that Derek Carr was going to be their future and be the guy that was going to take the Raiders to the Super Bowl, and they had his back, blase. And, he even got paid. They gave him a great extension that was very team friendly, and it seemed like that everything was good to go for the next 5 years. But it didn't work out like that. Mark Davis started listening to outside critics and pretty much made the decision to let them go ahead and bench Derek Carr right in the middle, right at the end of the season where it was kind of a 50-50 shot that the Raiders could continue on and possibly make the playoffs. But they pretty much said that we're done with this. After the Pittsburgh game, they wrapped it up on Derek Carr. And that loss alone was never Derek Carr's fault, but they had to find somebody to blame, and the blame has to go on the quarterback. That's the new NFL now. If everything is going wrong, the first person that gets the blame is the quarterback. Even if the quarterback's out there throwing for 4,500 yards, 32 touchdowns, only had 10 picks, and the team winds up finishing up 6-11, it's all on the quarterback. The quarterback ruined everything. The quarterback's the biggest reason why we can't win these games. That's the new narrative. That's the new mantra in the NFL. So when you're a quarterback, just know if you're not winning games, even if you have the stats to show that you're a great quarterback, it doesn't matter. You're the reason why they're losing games, even though that is not the case. But we're just going to go ahead and be lazy about it, and we're going to just say that, pretty much it's the quarterback's fault. And it's truly not the quarterback's fault. A lot of these teams are being led by bad coaches, and it's really starting to become very obvious that that's the case. And Derek Carr is another guy who was led by bad coaches over pretty much his whole tenure. He had one good time with coaches, and that's when he had Jack Del Rio and when he had Bill Musgrove as his offensive coordinator. But Mark Davis's refusal to have patience has ruined his team and has ruined his relationships with guys who loved his team. So right now, Derek Carr is trying to put this team in position that he could never get with the Raiders. Let's just keep it real. He could never be in the position to win a divisional title. The year that they were in play to win a divisional title, Derek Carr got hurt at the end of the season. Now he's with the team where that's the expectation. They are the favorite to win this division this year. Derek Carr is very positive about his new receiver core. He's very positive about his new defense, and he also has a running game as well too. But at the end of the day, Derek Carr is still Derek Carr. Derek Carr is a really good quarterback. I won't say great, but I know that Derek Carr has his little moments where he overthinks things a little bit. He's with the group now where he doesn't have to overthink so much. And you pretty much just have it to where it's a make or break situation for Derek Carr and for his coach, Dennis, for his coach, for their coach as well, too. And I'm trying Dennis Allen. And pretty much, you have this situation where it's gonna be a very, very what have you done for me lately type situation for the Saints. The Saints are in a position where they're supposed to be a good team. Anything other than finishing up 10-7 is going to be a failure for this team at the end of the day. And that's all they need to win the division at the end of it, for real, is 10-7, 11-6. But this is still going to be one of the tougher divisions when it comes to playing defense. Derek Carr hasn't had to play against this many good defenses in a division literally ever. So pretty much, you can't discount the Bucs defense, even though they're going to be on the field a lot. You can't discount the Carolina defense, and you can't discount the Atlanta defense either. So that's what you think of when you think of this year's NFC South. It's going to be a defensive-led division. So with that, they have a strong chance of winning the division, yes, but people do have to understand this is a wide open division. And when I do my preview, I'm going to surprise you guys a little bit with the actual winner that I have for this division as well too. So with that, let's go ahead and move forward and talk about our next topic in hand, and that's going to be AJ in White is off, but